What's up, Mavericks? This is Erica Cepolo with Merchant Maverick, and today I'm going to show you how to customize your Square checkout using discounts, tips, and custom fees. These small settings can have a big impact on how you get paid and how smooth your checkout experience is for your customers. I'm going to walk you through exactly where to find everything in Square and how to use each option step by step. So let's get started. So I'm going to start off by showing you how to create discounts and apply those to your customer orders. So we're on the main Square dashboard right now. We're going to go over to the left menu. We're going to click on Items and Services, click on the Items dropdown, and then click on Discounts. In the middle of the screen, you're going to see a Create a Discount button. Simply click on that. So we're going to start off by naming our discount. You can do 20% off, buy one, get one free, or name the specific type of customer discount. So we're going to say new customer discount. Then we're going to go to amount type. So it's set at percentage right now. So you could give 10% off, 20% off your purchase. You can click on this drop down. You can also select a set amount, $5 off your purchase, $25 off your purchase, whatever you want it to be. You also have the option to do a variable amount or a variable percentage if that's just going to vary by customer. We're going to stick with percentage for now. We're going to go in and we're going to say our new customer discount is 5% off. So next you can go in, and if you have multiple locations, you can choose where this discount will apply. We only have one location, so we're going to leave this alone. So the next thing is to set discount rules. So you can apply this automatically to specific times, quantities, items, or categories. If you want to set rules, simply toggle this option on. The first option is to apply it to specific items or categories. My business is set up as a bakery, so if I wanted to apply the 5% off simply to cookies instead of cakes or pies, I could go in there and do that. I could also go even more specific than that and say only on chocolate chip cookies and no other type. So you would just select item or category for that. You can also do a quantity. So if you want to do a buy one, get one free, buy 5 cookies, get 5% off, get $10 off, whatever, you can set that quantity there, or you can apply the discount to a specific customer group. So if you have your customer group set up, for example, your regular customers, your new customers, your social media followers, your email subscribers, if you have your customers set up in groups, you can go in there and specify that this discount applies to specific groups. We're just going to go in with item or category, and we're going to click on done. So you can apply this to individual items or item categories. I'm going to click on this, but I don't have my category set up. But for example, if I had cookies, cakes, pies, breads, things like that, and I only wanted the discount to apply to cookies, I could go in here and select categories, but I don't have that set up. But that's how you would do that once you have your category set up. You can also go in and show this on individual items. I do have this set up, so if I want to give 5% off on the purchase of chocolate chip cookies, I could go in here and check this off. If you have multiple items, you just check the box. Once you're done with that, click done, and you're going to see that this applies to chocolate chip cookies. So the next option is to set a schedule. So you can set specific times and days of the week when you want the discount to apply. So this is great for a happy hour if you're doing a seasonal sale, anything like that. And if you want to set that schedule, just toggle this on. You can go in here and check off the days when this will apply and go in here and click and change the end and start times for that. But we are not going to do a schedule. We're going to turn this off, but that option is available for you. So you can also set a date range. So if you're doing a summer weekly sale or a Black Friday, Thanksgiving week sale, you can just go in here. You can click on set date range, set the start and end dates and the start times and the end times for when the discount could apply. So the next option is to set a minimum spend. So you can require a minimum subtotal to qualify. So if you want to get 5% off, but only if you spend $5, you can go in here, you can click that. You're going to put the minimum subtotal and you have that set up. You can also set a maximum discount value. So it is important, especially if you're selling higher ticket items, that you balance out giving your customers a good deal without hurting your business financially. So of course you want to iron out all those details and logistics before you come in here. But if you want to set a maximum discount value, so if you're giving 10% off, but you have multiple big ticket items and you know that customers can potentially save a lot of money that could hurt your business financially, you can set a maximum discount value. So for example, if you wanted $100, so this would allow your customers to save 5% off up to saving $100. So that way you're giving your customers a deal without financially harming your business. So once you have that set up, there are some advanced settings. So you can go in here, you can require a passcode, or you can apply the discount after taxes. Now, Square does let you know that this is only used for manufacturer discounts and instant rebates. So the default is to apply the discount before taxes, and so we're going to leave that alone. So once this looks the way that we want it to, we're going to go to the top right corner and we're going to click on Save. And once we're back in the discount screen, you're going to see the discount name, the locations where the discount applies, the options. So for this example, this discount applies only to one item, the chocolate chip cookies, and the amount. If you decide that you want to change this up a little bit or you made a mistake, all you're going to do is you're going to go on here and you're going to click on that discount, and you can go in here back to the same screen and you can go in here and edit. So let's say that I want to change it to $5 off. I can easily go in there and change that. And one other thing, if you go from percentage to a set amount, you will have to go down here to the maximum discount value because this is only applies to percentage-based discounts. You're going to want to toggle that off. Otherwise, when you go to click Save, you're going to get a little pop-up from Square that you need to fix that. So we have that toggled off. We now have it as $5 off, and we're going to go in here and we'll actually just remove the discount rules as well. And we're going to click on Save. And as you can see, it's updated. So the discount name is here, the location is here, the option for the one item has been removed, and it's now went from 5% to $5. Okay, so now I'm going to show how you can apply this discount on an invoice. So we're back on the home screen. We're going to go over here to the left menu, and we're going to click on Payments and Invoices, click on Invoices, and go to Overview. If you haven't created an invoice before, this is how your screen is going to look. We're going to click on Create an Invoice to get started. So we will need to add a new customer. So we can just go in here and easily create a new customer and save. You also have the option, if you already have customer saved in your system, you can click on that drop down and just select the customer. We'll go in and put an invoice title, service date, if that's applicable, and the invoice ID. That always starts at 1, preceded by a bunch of zeros. If you have another system going on, you can go in there and you can edit that. You can go in here and you can write a message. You can even have AI write you a message if you want it to sound more professional. So we are going to go in here. I did go in off camera and added a few items so that we could get this set up. So we're just going to click on this plus. We have a few things here. So we're going to say chocolate chip cookie, and if you won't need to add any more items, you can do that. So where our discount is going to apply is right below your line items. We're going to click right here on add discount, and as you can see, our new customer discount is right here. We would simply click on this and then click Save. And as you can see, it took 5% off of all items and took off 15 cents. Now, if we wanted to remove that, you're just going to click the trash can. Now, I do want to go back in and show you that you do all of your existing discounts will show up right here. If you have a bunch, you can go right here to the search bar, search for it, find it, click and save. Now, if you go in here and you didn't do the first steps that I showed you and you don't have the discount already set up, you can go right here, click custom discount, just put in a name, amount, and the type. So that can be percentage or amount, so 5%, $10 off, whatever. You even have the option to save that for future transactions by simply checking there, and then you can click add and it's going to show off. So I'll show you. So we can click that and we can click add. And as you can see, that custom discount email subscriber, $5 off the entire sale. It actually only took $3 off simply because the total amount of the invoice is only $3. If we were to add another item, you'll see it took the $5 off, so the subtotal is now $1. So that's how you do that. If you just kind of want to do that on the fly and you really need to get an invoice out, you do have that option to go in there and just create that. So then you just go through, you can add shipping, you want to make sure your tax is all set up on the back end. You can even add a late fee, payment schedule, add attachments, things like that. And then once you have that done, go up here to the top right corner, click send, and your invoice with the discount that you selected will be sent to your customer. So now I'm going to show you how to update your tips. So we're back on the main home screen, and this time we're going to go over here to the left menu. We're going to click on settings. We're going to go to device management, and we're going to click on modes. Now you may already have this set up. If not, you're going to need to do this first. So we're going to add a mode, and you can do it based on what you sell, but we're going to go in and we're going to say we're a full service restaurant, and we're going to select that, and then we're going to click next. So you can name your mode. So we'll just put restaurant, whatever you want to name it, you can just throw it in there, and then we're going to save. So once we have that mode set up, we have this little pop-up on the right side of the screen. You have the option to click on the 3 dots to duplicate or delete this mode. You can rename it. Under here, it shows your assigned devices. We don't have any devices, but you can assign this mode to specific devices. What we want to focus on are the settings. So we're going to go here under settings, and we're going to click on manage. So there's a bunch of different settings here, but what we want to focus on is this tipping right here. Just going to click on that. And this lets you know where automatic gratuity settings are now configured, but we're going to scroll down and start with general. So this option, if your business for whatever reason doesn't accept tips, you can just toggle this off, and then it's going to remove all of those other options because you don't accept tips, and so you don't need these options. We're going to toggle this back on. So next section is tip amounts. So there's smart tip amounts, which is the default. So payments under $10 can get tip choices in whole amounts, and any payments over $10 are tipped by percentage. If you just want to do that by percentage amounts and don't want to use the smart tipping, click here on the set percentage amounts, and you can go down. It's automatically set to 15, 20, or 25. You can change that to whatever you want, 10, 15, 20, higher, lower, whatever. But we're just going to go with the smart tipping default. So the next is to calculate tip. It is automatically set to before taxes. You do have the option to calculate the tip after taxes if you want, and you would just click on that option and change it. But we're going to leave it as the default. So then we can go to other settings. You can allow custom amounts. That's already on. So if a customer just wants to type in their own amount, they can do that. If you don't want to give them that option and just want to go on those set percentages, you can toggle this off, but we're going to leave it on and allow them to pay whatever amount they want. You can also toggle on and off if there's a separate tipping screen. You can allow roundup tipping. A new beta feature is to ask for tips before payment. You can turn all of these off and on just however you run your business. And then we're going to look at allocating tips to your staff. So we're just going to click on that option. And that's going to pull us into another screen, and this is going to allow you to choose how team members earn tips. It's automatically set to tip directly. You can also pool tips per transaction, pool tips by hours worked, or pool by percentages. Now you'll see that there's little stars over here. So you do need Square Plus, which does have a free trial, in order to use any of these options beyond tip directly, which is the default. There's also this little disclaimer at the top about federal and state laws, so make sure you understand all of that before you go in here and change anything. You can also go in here and toggle on and off to declare cash tips, but this is more on the employee side and not for the benefit of your customers. So you're really going to want to focus on the screen we were in before with the modes and changing those settings to best fit how your business works. So we went back into the mode screen, and once we have determined that all of the tipping is set up the way that we want it to be, all we do is go to the top right corner. We're going to click on save, and that's saved all of those settings. Again, you can just go in here under modes. You're now going to have that mode right here. And if you want to go in here and alter that, you mess something up, or you're just kind of changing up how things are due to customer feedback or things like that, just simply click on the mode and go back in here and click on manage. Okay, so finally, I'm going to show you how to add custom fees. So we're back on the Square home screen. We're going to go down to settings and click on that. We're going to click on the first option, account and settings. We're going to go to the payments drop down, and then we're going to click on service charges. So once that pulls up, it says we can create a service charge to apply at checkout, shipping fees, bag fees, pass-through fees, anything like that. So you also now, this is a beta feature, have an option to create an automatic credit card surcharge. So you can offset your card processing fees by adding a surcharge to in-person credit card payments. You can go in here and click on this option, create credit card surcharge. To do that, I would highly recommend looking into the laws surrounding credit card surcharges before you do this. For example, you cannot apply this to debit cards. There are certain laws and rules in states, so make sure you understand that before setting that up. We're not going to go into this right now. Instead, we're just going to focus on creating a service charge to apply at checkout. So we're going to click on Create Service Charge. Then we have this screen that pops up here, and it lets you know merchants are responsible for complying with all laws and regulations related to service charges. So again, make sure you understand local and federal laws before you go in here and just start adding a bunch of charges. But I'm just going to show you a really simple one, a shipping fee. So we're going to name that, and it actually gives us the example to name it shipping fee. So we will just put that right in. So you can select the amount type. So that can be a percentage, that can be an amount, it can be a variable amount or a variable percentage. So let's say that we just offer across the board shipping that is $9.95. We're going to select amount, and then we're going to type that amount in. You can go in here if you have multiple locations and select where this is going to apply. You can also go in here and edit sales taxes. And so it's either taxable, assigned taxes, taxable apportioned taxes, or non-taxable. And we're just going to leave that as is. And then this is a beta feature, apply to items. This lets us know that our current sales tax setting won't allow this to apply this service charge to items. We would have to go into the sales tax setting and change that. But if we had that correct, we would be able to go in here and click on items that this would apply to. So for example, if you have heavier items or things like that, you could go in there and you could apply this service charge only to those, like an overweight item fee or things like that. I've seen that before. And you would just simply check the item and then click done. But our sales tax settings won't allow us to do this, so we're just going to go back out. So once we have all that filled out, we're going to go to the top right corner and we're going to click on Save. As you can see under service charges, we have that shipping fee, shows our location, shows the sales tax settings, the amount, and whether or not it's applied to items. If it is applied to items, it's going to show those items. If you have a lot of these service charges, there is a search field up here. You can just click on that and you can type in the name. So then I'm going to show you what this looks like on an invoice. So we're going to go in here. We're going to go to payments and invoices. I'm going to go to invoices, overview, and we're going to create an invoice. So if you scroll down, you can see right here under where we added a discount that you can click add shipping fee or service charge. And right here is our shipping fee. We click on that and we click add, and it's added that $9.95 shipping fee. So that's how that option works. Of course, you'll want to fill out the rest of the invoice and then send that, but that's what that looks like. And that's how you customize your Square checkout with tips, discounts, and custom fees. Once these are set up, your checkout is faster and cleaner, and it gives you more control over how you get paid. If you want a deeper look at Square's tools, pricing, and whether it's the right fit for your business, make sure to head over to Merchant Maverick for our full Square review. Thanks for watching, Mavericks, and I'll see you in the next walkthrough.